that sounds like a bad cough.
Let's crack on.
Oh, mate. Have you got a Lemsip?
I'm so high right now.
This guy's on tablets. This guy's on Lemsip. Let's make a podcast. Hello and welcome to 10 Acre, a football podcast where we take you through the weekly stories in and around the Premier League, focusing on Arsenal and Nottingham Forest as well. Game week 10 saw Wolves drop Pereira, Liverpool wake up, Arsenal stay firm and City keep knocking on that door. And to talk all this and more is the Overmars to my Dennis Bergkamp, dismantling football debates as if they were back fours in the late 90s. Jay, how are you doing?
Wow, Overmars and Bergkamp, that is an absolute smash from the past, isn't it? Incredible players, weren't they? And like you said, an absolute duo.
Well, I kind of thought Bergkamp was the creative one. Overmars was almost like the one that had the pace and the finishing, even though Bergkamp did have the finishing as well. And I kind of thought I always pegged myself as the bit of like the one that always gave the assist, right? I'd find you in space and you just finish it off all the time. I've never actually seen you miss a shot whenever we play football.
Overmars, he was so rapid, wasn't he? Did he have those really wicked like Predators as well? Those Adidas Predators.
Yeah.
Did you hear those?
Oh my gosh, the Predators. Yeah.
Predators,
everybody in school, like the top people in school used to have those when I had my Lotto boots.
Yeah. or Gola.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I just thought I'd let you know we've got a little bit of a new format to the show. We're still going to include all the lovely stuff that we do in the usual shows. We're just going to cut it down. And then we're going to focus on the teams that we like to talk about the most, which are Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. As we're fans, we thought it would make absolute sense just to do that. However, other teams will be included as well as we go further forward. We're thinking on streamlining this more as a Nottingham Forest and Arsenal focus podcast with a hint of other teams going in. And one of our new segments coming forward is we're going to do a quick roundup in 90 seconds of the Premier League's results. I'm going to try and think of a new name for this because it's to be decided, Jay, this name, because I've looked at a couple of other podcasts and they've kind of taken the names that I thought I came up with, but they already got and they already patented. So I need to come up with a name for it. But for this week, we're going to call it the 90-second roundup. We'll give it that, shall we?
Okay, let's go for it, yeah.
We're going to go 90 seconds on the clock, and here we go. Arsenal continued their relentless march with a 2-0 win away at Burnley thanks to goals from Gyökeres and Rice and another clean sheet to boot. They look more like contenders and more like the benchmark for the Premier League. Over at Anfield, Liverpool beat Aston Villa 2-0 with Mohamed Salah scoring his 250th goal for the Reds. Villa hit the post twice but got punished, a reminder that finishing actually matters. In North London, Chelsea edged Tottenham in a 1-0 win with João Pedro ending his drought in a 34th minute goal that was made by Moise Caicedo. Spurs were second best again, and yes, the boos rang out. Crystal Palace dismantled Brentford 2-0 at home, Mateta giving them the lead, and Collins' own goal from a long throw chaos sealed it. And at the City Ground, 2-2 was the score for Nottingham Forest and Manchester United after a bit of drama over a corner again. United took the lead, Forest hit back twice, and United rescued a point versus Amad Diallo's stunning volley. Fulham demolished Wolves 3-0. Wolves might be top heavy in attacking talent, but basic defensive structure is missing when you're on the ropes. West Ham beat Newcastle United 3-1, a statement win for the Hammers. Newcastle outclassed, or just second best. Bowen pulling the strings and a belter from Paqueta sealed the first win under Nuno. Brighton hammered Leeds 3-0 with Welbeck and Gomez shining. And over at the Etihad, Manchester City powered past Bournemouth 3-1 with Haaland doing a robot, 2 goals in showing you why you don't press City unless you really want a Haaland counter. And finally on Monday night at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland and Everton played out a 1-1 draw. Everton opened the scoring in spectacular fashion. 42 seconds into the second half, Granit Xhaka, who was pulling the strings, deflected finish brought Sunderland level. And that is the 90-second roundup for this week's Premier League results.
Wow. I mean, we're in danger. We're in danger here of sounding like a professional podcast. That was credit to you. That was incredible.
Cheers, man. I think I stumbled over a couple of things, but like I think we finally got there in the end.
I suppose when you're spitting bars like Twister, you're bound to fall over some words every now and again, right?
I thought I was like Eminem in 8 Mile there. I was ready for Papa Doc to go, yo, spin that. So that was our 90-second roundup. Jay, was there anything from the weekend of the Premier League that kind of took your fancy, a moment that took your fancy?
Not so much a moment, but I guess a performance, and it's already been widely credited on the internet and both in the newspapers, and it's Moise Caicedo and him being absolutely fundamental, outstanding for Chelsea. I mean, interesting, I think back, I remember when he was signed for Chelsea, it was under kind of the cloud of an incredibly insane transfer fee, wasn't it? Was it like 85 million? It didn't happen for him in those early stages, did it? I can't quite remember when that was now. I don't know if it was a year ago, 18 months ago, I'm not sure. I mean, in complete contrast at the moment, He was, like I said, he was fundamental over the weekend to that Chelsea result. Obviously, making the two tackles where Spurs were attempting to play out from the back, which was kind of the story of the game for them, and Caicedo leaping on that.
I can't remember rightly. Did he pounce upon it or did he lose the ball? There was a moment where he lost the ball and immediately got it back. It's like his tenacity to get the ball back. I can't remember if that was for the goal.
No. Yeah, that was. Yeah, he was firing all game, man. He was. He was all over the park, mate. Sorry, I've got to go to the door.
Yeah, no, I'll play some doorbell music. Don't worry about it. I thought to myself, like, oh, there was a moment where Caicedo lost the ball, but then immediately got it back from Spurs playing out from the back. And then he almost bullied two defenders, didn't he? And then got the ball across to João Pedro, right?
Yeah, he did. Massive, really strong, really effective, dominant on the ball. It was interesting. The whole thing was interesting. It was Thomas Frank's reluctancy almost to play any other way other than being kind of that reactive football that he's trying to instill in his players at home, which is kind of strange. And Chelsea capitalised on that. You know, you think with the strengthy powerhouses that Tottenham have in the middle of the park, in like Paulinho, Bentancur and Sarr. They might have played out slightly differently, but ultimately it was Chelsea's high press. You thought Tottenham might try and sling it over the top, run through the middle with those, the physical players they have at their disposal. But all credit to Chelsea, and like I said, Moise Caicedo, what a performance!
It got quite feisty as well. I remember saying in the predictions that I predict this game to be really, really feisty. And the only time I've ever noticed this tie being a feisty one is when Chelsea and Tottenham played out a 2-2 draw. And it was the time when they had like John Terry, Ashley Cole, Lampard. It was that era, right? Like the Drogba era as well. I just remember tackles flying in, like 2 studded tackles into people's knees, people getting hacked out of the game, red cards galore. And I just remember, why is that game so feisty? In fact, actually talking to somebody I work with who is an avid Chelsea fan, he said they've always been like that. All those games have always been like that between Chelsea and Tottenham, and I've never known why. But yeah, you're right. It was a great performance by Chelsea. My moment of the week was, oh my word. So this game, we touted as like a high press game from both teams. And you're completely right, because I actually thought in the first 50 seconds, even though it was offside, Bournemouth absolutely dismantled that City defence like it was nothing, right? Like a knife through butter, right? Going back to Uncle Ed's metaphor.
Sure.
But the moment I want to talk about is Erling Haaland's goal, where it was almost like I counted the touches. So from the high press that Bournemouth played and the counter-attack that City did towards the goal was 11 touches altogether. So it was like a couple of passes, a header out, a ball over to Shirky. Shirky nodded it down, then through to Erling Haaland with blistering pace to run through that press. And you can't give him an inch of space because he will absolutely dominate you in that. And the thing that made me laugh was 2 things. Number one, his celebration was the robot, which was hilarious. And there was a really funny tweet by Peter Crouch, which was almost like, I paved the way so future legends could walk or something like that. But what made me laugh even more is Shirky headed the ball forward, and there's a shot from in front of Erling Haaland as he's running through on goal, and Shirky is already celebrating with his hands up, knowing full well that ball's going in the back of the net.
I mean, in fairness, we were all there with him on the same page, weren't we? We just thought he just never. Right now, he looks like a player that never looks like he's going to miss, and rightly so. That it was a lovely shot from behind. From behind the sequence of play, as you say, Shirky's arms up in the air, maybe 10 minutes before the goal went in. It was lovely stuff.
It was just the inevitability of it. That's what I call Erling Haaland. He's like, you remember the Matrix, where he's like, "Oh, Mr. Anderson, it's inevitable." I swear he's one of the agents because it's just inevitable. You put him through on goal, he's a bully.
Can I just ask you a question off the back of that? How concerned are you in that it also feels like right now Manchester City aren't necessarily running on all gears? They're not. Are they out of third gear yet? It feels like there's so much more to come from this side as they kind of grow into this, I don't know, this resurgent playing long game that Guardiola's got them doing now. They have the advantage of a player like Shirky and the relationship he's building with Haaland as he's so much more of a direct player, like an urgent player, isn't he, than maybe Kevin De Bruyne ever was.
Do you think he's fully replaced the Kevin De Bruyne Haaland duo?
I don't think it's a matter of replacing or replacement. I think it's more what else he's offering and how, like I said, this new format City and the game that they're rolling out now. he seems to be. It's like Guardiola's understood what he is, and he's just he's working to his strengths, and it's paying off in droves right now.
It doesn't worry me so much because at the moment, Arsenal have got so much of a resilience. I feel so confident watching an Arsenal game now. I never used to feel like this, a few years ago. And when we used to play teams like City or Liverpool, I'd always be worried about us getting absolutely pegged like 5-1 or 5-3 or something. And then when we would go to teams like Burnley, I'd always worry those are the games we should win. And we'd always lose like 2-1 or 1-0, Whereas now, because we are winning those games like a Newcastle and a Fulham and a Burnley and a Sunderland, I don't worry so much about like the conventional big six games. Because I feel like if we can do that in the games that we lost or drew last season, well, we always try and overperform against like the conventional big six. I think the one thing that would concern me is the sense that even though it's inconsistent, they are slowly building that form, City, at the moment. And like I said in the opener, they are knocking. And I think they'll always be knocking throughout the season. But all Arsenal have got to do right now is just continue to do what they did. There's that famous adage of what Alex Ferguson used to say to reporters. Like, you used to say, oh, were you worried about Liverpool or Arsenal catching you at the top of the table? And he very rightly said, I should be worried more about my team than I should be about other people. Or I should care about my team more than I should care about other people or other teams. You know what I mean? And I kind of, at the moment as an Arsenal fan, I'm so confident in sitting in that. So now we're going to go into a segment of in-game focus. This is where Jay and I basically focus on the teams that we support, which are Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. And we focus on the games and the in and arounds of both of them. I thought, Jay, today we'd start with the Arsenal game.
Sure thing.
So it was Arsenal versus Burnley at Turf Moor. And to be honest with you, other than the first, I would say probably 10 minutes where Burnley were really pressing and really had the home crowd behind them, I actually thought this whole performance, Arsenal dealt with pretty confidently. And from the offset as well. I mean, even before the first goal went in, I thought the interlink play between Gyökeres, Trossard, Declan Rice, Saka, it was really starting to come together, I thought. I thought that whole placement of Gyökeres in the middle, something that we've been talking about for weeks, is really coming to fruition. His layoffs, his controls, his hold-up play, his tenacity to bully defenders as well and get behind them, his running, his passing. That pass he fizzed out to Trossard. I know we're going ahead of ourselves. But that pass he fizzed out to Trossard where people were like, oh, he was aiming for Eze. Actually, the commentator turned around and said, no. He's actually aiming for Trossard because he thought or he knew that Eze was never going to get to that pass.
Oh, no, you could see it. He knew the trouble pass was the Eze pass because he had two defenders either side of him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You could see Trossard in acres of space.
To give a quick breakdown of the first half, it was on the 14th minute, Gyökeres from a set piece again, ole, and he headed it down wonderfully from a well-worked corner. Declan Rice on the 35th minute sealed the victory. That was from that pass that Gyökeres played out to Trossard. Trossard with a lovely clip ball into Declan Rice to stick it away. And then from then on, it was basically like counter-attack after counter-attack for Arsenal. They basically just kind of like sat back, let Burnley come to them, pick the moments, pick their space, pick their channels. And we could have had a lot more if it wasn't for the great keeping of the Burnley keeper. In the second half, I actually kind of feel like Burnley did come on a little bit, but again, there was no real threat, I thought, from Burnley, to be honest with you. And even when we made those substitutions, I kind of felt like, you know what, this is all right. When we got Nwaneri on, when we got Marino on, there was a lovely little flick that Marino played to Nwaneri. It was almost like an instinctive backheel pass to try and tackle it off a defender when the Burnley were trying to play out from the back, and it was late in the second half. And Nwaneri moved through, obviously missed his shot. But other than the free kick at the end that hit the post, hit the upright, that nearly actually took away that record of the clean sheets, I actually thought Burnley didn't really pose that much of a threat or give us too much trouble. I honestly think that's down to the organisation, that it's almost like a spine that we have now. You know, we have that perfect kebab spine. We have Wright in goal. You've got Gabby at the back with Saliba. You've got Zubimendi like cleaning up everything in the midfield, which allows Rice to progressively move forward and be that attacking threat. You've got Gyökeres holding the play up so that your attacking wingers like Trossard and Saka with pace can just burst forward and be a danger to the Burnley's back four. I really find it interesting how pundits are seeing Arsenal as just a set-piece attacking team. Granted...
So could I stop you there? Sorry, on the pundits and this, what is quoted as being a reliance on set pieces. So I read an article earlier on where it says that Arsenal have scored 10 set-piece goals this season, right? And it means that they've scored, and the quote said only 8 from open play. Now, if my maths is correct there, or it serves me correctly, that's almost half and half. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't necessarily see that as a problem. I'd see that as okay, we can do both of these fairly competently.
Yeah.
And there's statistics that you'd want. Surely that's something you want, right? You want to do both. I think what I'm basically trying to say is I wouldn't be fearful of this sense that I think it is a narrative that is being punted around at the moment, this reliance on set pieces. But, whatever gets the job done, if there's 3 points on the board at the end of those 90 minutes, I couldn't care less how you've done it.
And this is what I was saying to you before. I really don't mind how Arsenal do it. Like, if we grab a scrappy, like, set piece goal, it's a goal at the end of the day. That ball has crossed the line. And if we get that without the other team scoring, that's 3 points for us. And if we've done it in the scrappiest of fashion, great. If we win the title, if that's our hands around the trophy at the end of the season, fantastic. Let me take you back a couple of seasons ago. We were scoring open play goals for fun, but nobody mentioned the fact that, they can only score open play goals or they can only score like carpet football. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand, because it's a set piece. Surely set piece is the best thing, because it's almost like I get a penalty is 12 yards away. So it's basically like a free goal, unless you've got like Donnarumma in the sticks or like Pickford in the sticks, right? A corner, you've still got to work that corner. In fact, a corner's even harder, because it's not a case of just planting the ball in the box. Arsenal are literally reworking it so that the defence follow like a line of attackers or defenders running astray and confusing them. It's almost like a con. We're conning people right now, and we're doing it to a devastating fashion as well. So I can't understand why people are going, they can only score from a free kick or a corner. Well, surely that takes a lot more ingenuity and intelligence to do that, no?
No, like I'd like to think so. Like I said, I don't think there's not a worry for me of a reliance on set piece. I would see them as both advantages that you currently carry as a team, and that you're executing superbly. So yeah, wouldn't be a concern for me.
So here's a question I did want to pose, though, because I know I've already mentioned it a little bit, but when those key players did go off, and I know I've already said I didn't really worry, but in the bigger games, and I'm no disrespect to Burnley here, but in the bigger games when we really need those key players, is it going to be a little bit of a worry for Arsenal going forward? Does their depth seem a little bit more depleted when these big name players are taken out?
No, I mean, we've spoken about this before, haven't we? What's the current situation? I know he's having Gyökeres further scouting, isn't he?
Yeah,
so
if Gyökeres is out, if he's out, it's Marino basically, or Trossard in the middle, because Martinelli's also injured now as well.
It's still not a depletion in quality for me, man. I think it's just a different version of how they'll orchestrate a performance or assemble a performance. Let's say, if we're here picking, it's only very slight. The depth of your squad will carry you through this season for sure.
Keeps us top of the table, another clean sheet, another set piece goal, but an open play goal to go with it as well. Standout performances, I will say, Declan Rice. What a performance. If Caicedo was tenacious in his game, oh my God, Declan Rice was like a Rolls Royce of a midfielder. He was just everywhere. Not only his defending duties, but up front, he was just having none of it, wasn't he? He was just like, give me the ball, give me the ball. I'm going to make things happen, give me the ball. Always open for pass, always open to play it on, always open to move it forward, progress the ball. He is such a good buy, and I really feel like we've done West Ham an absolute con, haven't we? Taking them for the amount of money that we've taken them for.
No, I don't know if I agree with that. That's still a lot of money, man.
Oh yeah, no. In general, I mean, in football terms, I mean, obviously, in money for you and I, that's a lot of money. But I mean, when it comes to like players today, especially with Isak being 125 million, and let's face it, at the moment, Isak's not really performing to that price tag. I think Declan Rice, what a game for him. Eze as well had some great moments, was quite quiet in some points, but when he needed it, came up with the goods. So yeah, all in all, great performance from Arsenal. And we move forward. Jay, moving on to the game at the City Ground. 2-2 it ended with Nottingham Forest and Manchester United. Jay, do you want to lead us in this one here?
Yeah, it was a good day for us. Back to basics. I think that's what we've been asking for. Sean Dyche was obviously brought in really to kind of consolidate and stabilise what has been a fairly frenetic, hectic, mismatch start to the season, if you like. It really felt like with this performance, Forest were creeping back to what we'd been used to seeing last season, and that was kind of frustrating teams. And no, I don't want to use the term sitting deep, but orchestrating a performance that played to Manchester United's weaknesses. And what I mean with that is that Man United, in recent results, as we know, have performed and done very well. And that, I think, in large part, against teams like Liverpool, they enjoy teams to kind of come onto them, if you like, and so gaps will appear, and Manchester United can exploit them with their pacey leaders at the front of the park. But no, Forest did a great job. Forest also had, I mean, it's fairness to say that Forest had the chances to take all 3 points. Being completely honest, obviously, I'd be gutted in saying if I wasn't. not slightly frustrated, but just kind of, I was gutted we didn't. But as a point on the board, it's something to build on. Forest did, like I said, it was back to basics. It was, I think it was a 4-2-3-1, I think. I think we get a decent result against Graz in the week. And if we can beat Leeds, we'd well be heading in the right direction, I think.
Forest performance actually was reflected in the stats as well. I've got down here, so pretty much shared possession between the two teams. You had United with 58%, Forest with 41%, total shots on 18 to United, 17 for Nottingham Forest, and most of those shots are coming in the first half as well. Hudson-Odoi was absolutely running amok of that United defence, wasn't he? He was really coming into his own that game. So was N'Doye as well. N'Doye had a really good game that game, I thought too. Shots on target, United 7, Forest 3. Forest actually had more of the corners, believe it or not. So their dominance really actually did show pretty well. And again, when we're talking about Forest, not to focus on the negativity about it, because actually the performance was a lot better, like you said. It was a lot more of what Forest fans were used to under Nuno. A corner full of controversy came up again, didn't it?
Yeah, sure thing. Like a lot has been said about it. And, after a certain point, it will just become seen, I guess, as moaning. But it's hard for somebody in the position of, let's say, Sean Dyche not to remonstrate as vehemently as he has. I mean, he's well within his right to be as well. We are currently, right now, in a in a battle. And every single moment within that 90 to 100 minutes matters. And the inflation of that is huge right now for us because of the position we find ourselves in the league. Things like that occur. It's only heightened the sense of disbelief, the sense of annoyance, the sense of frustration is only heightened massively. And yes, admittedly, you will say, and I've heard pundits say that the Forest were again abject in their dealing with the situation. But I would say to that, I would say that you've got to think that players won't be of sound mind and body as well. They will be hugely upset and frustrated that they have this decision has gone against them once again, in consecutive weeks. And so that might play on their mind. And I would, in the way of any kind of tenuous argument you could put to that. But how we reacted to that was very reassuring, and I enjoyed seeing it. So yeah. Hopefully this is a slight turning of the tide, if you like.
Like we said, Forest kind of dominated the early parts of this game, and then up until the 34th minute with the controversy of the corner, United pretty much took the lead. And then going into the second half, what a halftime talk from Sean Dyche. He must have done an absolute blinder, because Forest then came out in the second half, and within literally minutes, Morgan Gibbs-White and Nicolas Savona brought Forest to the lead, and then the City ground was absolutely erupting. How important is it now for Morgan Gibbs-White to fully start taking that captain role and leading by example for the other players? Because in that second half, he looked like an absolute new man under Sean Dyche.
Yeah, massive. Any good team needs a good leader, don't they? And he needs to lead by example, which, as you say, in that second half, he did a superb job of. He has been subject to a lot of criticism from various different outlets, fans included. In previous games, he can remonstrate sometimes in ways that don't necessarily send great messages throughout the rest of the team. But no, he was superb on Saturday, and if he can keep that up, he has the potential to be kind of, I think, become quite a Forest legend, depending on how long he stays with the club. I think the fans in general really enjoy watching him, really enjoy having him at the club and wearing that armband.
Do you think his England selection has been almost like a bit of a detriment to his club play? Or do you think it's all the nonsense that's been happening around outside of the actual first team that's maybe played a full part on his performances lately?
No, I don't think the England call-up has got anything to do with it. I think much of it is probably the unrest around the club, the kind of tumultuous summer he had, obviously, as not knowing which club he was going to be playing for at any
point, sure.
Until the very end. So no, I don't think the England call-up is to blame at all.
The corner came in. Again, Forest's lack of, let's say, competency when it comes to dealing with set pieces at the moment. Are they a real thorn in set pieces?
I mean, they are right now, and I don't know how much of that can be attributed to the training field. Like, there is only so much those guys can do. Ultimately, it has to become about the players in that moment. They have to take the bull by the horns. They have to command that area, their area, their defensive place, if you like, in that moment in time. And currently, it's not quite working for us, and it's only something to build on, isn't it? The goal, albeit excellent strike. The
Oh,
goalkeeper.
Diallo's volley.
Amad Diallo's volley,
Yeah,
excellent
yeah.
strike. The goalkeeper could have been slightly blinded by
There was a whole
by the
crowd in
melee,
front of him, though, wasn't there?
by the melee of players. But yeah, it's not to take anything away from the strike. It wasn't necessarily dealt with very well, and the boy hit a lovely. He scored a lovely goal.
And it was a
No,
cracking game for the neutral, wasn't it?
yeah, for the neutral, it was a great game. It was kind of it was full of action, full of talking points, and obviously at the last gasp there, Murillo once again saves Forest off the line. So like I said, we could have gone. The game could have ended up three ways, and ultimately maybe a point on the day is sufficient.
Who was it that Murillo was in front of with that goal save on the line? Because there was another defender behind him. I can't remember who it was.
I'm not sure. I would guess Milenkovic. I know Milenkovic went and hugged him afterwards.
Yeah, I was going to say that was it.
No. Sorry. It was Nico Williams.
That's it. Yeah. So there's a slow motion replay of the immediate after reaction of when Murillo jumped in front of the ball, right? And it was almost like Murillo put this like calm, reassuring hand on Nico Williams, like, "Don't worry, man. I got this. I got this." And it looks so sweet in such a moment of like frenzy and craziness. But yeah, both of them played out a 2-2 draw. And hopefully Forest can push forward from this. I was really happy that Savona got that second goal as well, because of obviously, the corner that happened that led to the United goal. I was really happy that Savona got his moment and almost like his initiation into the Forest team finally, right?
Yeah, apparently the first Italian to score at the City ground in the Premier League, which made me think, this is what I'd heard, which made me think of Andre Salento.
Yeah, the Ferrari up front. Yeah, of course.
But so does this mean that, unless I've read it wrong, but does this mean that he never scored at the City ground?
He was pretty useless, to be fair, wasn't he?
He was.
That is a blast from the past. All right, moving forward, Jay, we're going to come to the very end and wrap this up with our usual predictions for the next Premier League weekend matches. However, with a bit of a twist this time, Jay. So I thought this time what we could do, instead of just throwing out predictions, we could go against each other, and all the points that we gather from our predictions, whether we get them correct or incorrect, accumulate in a end, I don't know, forfeit, probably not a forfeit, but a trophy or a prize that one of us has to get each other. Are you up for this?
Yeah, great idea. Fantastic idea.
Okay, right. And I kind of need to make a decision with you right now because I haven't fully created it yet. So if we get a result correct, how many points should we get?
Oh, let's get 2.
Great. Okay. What we'll do is we'll get 2 points for a correct result and 0 points for an incorrect result. I think that's pretty fair to say.
Sure thing. Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, let's start at West Ham versus Burnley. Jay, who's winning this one?
I'd like to say Burnley, but West Ham, is it? I know Newcastle offered nothing in the way of attack.
Oh, yeah, but West Ham, they made West Ham look like prime Brazil.
Yeah, they did. Let's go for a draw, sorry.
Okay, you're going to go for a draw? I'm going to go for a West Ham win. I think their tails are up, and I think they're going to go for it. Sunderland versus Arsenal. It's the 5:30 game on the Saturday.
Oh, wow. At the Stadium of Light.
Yeah.
Wow, this will test the muscle of Arsenal, I think, in the current climate. Let's go for a 1-0 win to Arsenal.
Yeah, I was going to go for a 1-0 win to Arsenal, but no, I'm being positive. Screw our competition. I'm being positive here for my team. Yeah, 1-0 Arsenal. Here we go. Tottenham versus Man United. This is going to be a good one.
Oh, what? Tottenham at home. Tottenham to win.
Okay, Tottenham to win that one. I think United to win that one. I think United are going to take it. Everton versus Fulham at Everton.
A draw, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw as well. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. Chelsea versus Wolves.
Chelsea win.
Yeah, Chelsea win that one. No. I'm going to go Wolves to win that one. Pereira's been sacked. They're going to get that new interim manager bounce. Did you hear the story about Gary O'Neill, like pulling out of the race?
Okay, can I just go back to what you just said? Wolves are definitely not winning this game.
No, that's it. I'm sticking with it. Wolves are winning this game, and you are going to eat humble Wolves pie next week on the podcast. I've probably done myself an absolute rotten one here, haven't I? Yeah, I think Wolves to win. You think Chelsea to win? But yeah, did you hear about Gary O'Neill pulling himself out of the race to be the manager? Crazy. When you get rid of somebody and then try and get him back, what's he going to say? Crystal Palace versus Brighton.
Oh, great game. This is going to be a great game, isn't it?
This is like a derby, isn't it, this one? This is the non-derby derby.
Is it going to be high scoring? I'm going to go for Brighton.
Palace. Going to be a Palace. Not just to be opposite to you, but I think Palace will take it. Yeah. Fiery event, Aston Villa versus Bournemouth.
Wow, that's a toughie. Bournemouth. Let's go
Yeah,
Bournemouth.
I'm going to go Bournemouth on this one as well. Brentford versus Newcastle.
Brentford.
See, this is questionable because Newcastle's performance against West Ham away was absolutely awful.
True.
I mean,
True.
in the first opening like 15 minutes, they were great. They were pouncing on everything, really dominant like they usually are, and then they just capitulated. So another London team away. Brentford are in good form. They're in all right form. Brentford. No, draw. It's gonna be a draw. Gonna be a draw. Draw. Right, here we go. Nottingham Forest versus Leeds on Sunday.
Come on, Nottingham Forest win.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for a Nottingham Forest win as well. I'm gonna take that one too. All right, big game of the weekend. Maybe we should do a little piece on this in our next pod. But big game of the weekend: Manchester City versus Liverpool.
Oh, okay. Before I give my
Prediction.
Before I give my prediction, I just want to point out that I know we didn't speak about the Liverpool game at all against Aston Villa, but it was interesting that apparently, I think I read, if I remember this rightly, Hugo Ekitike was the only summer signing in the starting lineup against Villa.
What? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, and I do wonder now whether this means Arne Slot has kind of settled to the sense that he may need to residually almost drip feed the rest of them in because,
Ekitike is the only one that's actually done anything.
Incredible. I couldn't believe that. But anyway, sorry. So Manchester City at home to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Manchester City are going to win this, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Even just looking at the fixture picture and seeing their surrounding pictures of Haaland celebrating and Liverpool's faces mostly being in woes, other than Gravenberch celebration, where he crouched, almost like he was taking a Paula Radcliffe kind of stance, wasn't he? When he celebrated his goal. Man City to win that one. Okay, cool. All right, Man City to win that one. All right, well, that's predictions in. Jay, is there anything else that you want to add to this podcast before we sign off?
No. That was hugely enjoyable. Loving the new format and interesting to see what the tally of our predictions are come next week.
I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to it. I like this little twist that we've gone on now. Well, don't forget, you can follow us all on social media. We have YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, BlueSky, where you can drop in questions that you can add to the pod and we will read them out and do our best to answer them. But that's all we have time for today. Jay, as always, thank you very much. Even in your ill state, thank you very much for joining me today. And thank you for listening in. Don't forget to subscribe or follow us via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts for more Top Flight talk. And we will see you next time for another kick around at 10 Acre. Bye-bye. Take care.